Here are 3 tips to fix your ads and get ROI in the next 30 days. All right, so just for context, year to date, we have an average ROAS of 5.45. So that means for every $1 I'm putting in ads, making an average of $5.45 back. I built my online health coaching business from 0 to 100K a month. Now my co-founder really runs this full time today. I'm still scaling it up. I've personally invested over $150,000 into the best business mentor, a lot of names you probably know, to master online marketing, ads, client acquisition, all of this stuff. And last thing, here's a recent one from one of my private clients, basically launched 21 days, collected 13.5K in revenue. So with all that said, my name is Jack Blatt. Let's dive into the 3 tips to help you be ROI positive with your ads in the next 30 days. All right, so this will be especially applicable if you're someone who's trying to run ads right now, you're a beginner, or you've tried ads in the past, you just got a bunch of unqualified leads, or it just wasn't profitable overall. Here's how to fix that in the next 30 days. All right, so first thing, number one, let's go ahead and unblur this here. So this is going to be pixel conditioning. Pixel conditioning number one. This is crucial. If you don't do this, there's very low likelihood you're going to be profitable with your ads nowadays, especially like in 2026, how the ads work. You need this. You need to condition your pixel. All right. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what the pixel is, the pixel, just think data. All right. So the pixel is the data that the ad platform uses to determine, hey, who do we put the ad in front of? That's all it is. All right. So what we want to do is we want to basically give the pixel only good qualified data. And so what do I mean by that? Let me kind of walk you through an example of a funnel. So most people will have like an ad, let's say it goes to like a VSL and then, book call or something like this. Very basic funnel. So what a lot of people do, they're optimizing their ads for leads. And so basically when someone clicks the ad, like that's what they're optimized for. It's just like clicks. And the problem with that is you're not able to properly qualify the people who are clicking as much as possible. And so what will happen if you do that, you're going to get a mix of some qualified, but a lot of unqualified leads as well. And so what you want to do to fix this is we basically have an application at this last part before they book a call. All right, so let's say they consume your video, they're going to book a call. We want to put an application there first of all. So we change this to application. And this has all the qualifying questions. So we want to qualify them for all the things we need to make sure they're a qualified lead, as good as possible. So that's finances. Do they actually have the finance to invest in your solution? Are they a good fit? Do they meet all of your criteria to be a perfect clientele? Are they actually motivated? Do they have urgency to solve their problems? All right, if they answer no to any of those, we want to boot them out. We want to reject them. Do not allow them to pass go. They're not able to book a call with you. All right, multiple reasons for this. Number one, you're not going to waste your time with bad leads. That's the first thing. But second of all, this is how we can do the pixel conditioning to only send good data back to Facebook. And so we basically only fire the pixel once they complete this application. And so what that does is the platform see, oh, these are the only type of people who are actually converting on this ad. And so that means we need to put the ad in front of more of those types of people. And that creates this positive feedback loop. That's how you condition your pixel and only send a good data. You must send your people through an application, some sort of questionnaire, and weed out anyone who's unqualified. All right, this is crucial. If you do this right, your pixel will be conditioned with the right types of people, and so your ad will be put in front of more and more of the right types of people. You do this wrong, like if you're getting a ton of unqualified leads right now, this is why. Your pixel is conditioned, it's just conditioned for the wrong people. And so that's why you're getting the unqualified leads, people who don't have money, people who are just not a good fit at all. I've seen people get like leads that are completely irrelevant to whatever they're actually selling. This is a big reason why, pixel conditioning. So fix this, number one. That's the first thing here. Second thing is extreme congruency. All right, extreme congruency. So I had a client, I was looking at his ads in his funnel. And basically, I don't remember exactly what this was, but let's say, for example, let's say your ad, it talks all about, let's say energy. All right, you're trying to help people get their energy up. All right, so let's say the ad is all about that. They land on the landing page, and then the landing page, let's say it talks about fat loss, for example, or even just like fatigue. All right, it can even be as small as that. So what's going on here? Your ad is talking about high energy. Then they click on it. The landing page talks about fat loss, or it could even be as fatigue. And so fatigue and energy, that's pretty related, right? They're pretty similar. It's just kind of the opposite. But what we want here, we want extreme congruency. All right, so extreme congruency would be ad talks about high energy, and then landing page talks about high energy as well. Like use the same exact words, the same exact like scripting, like the same exact thing. What this does, this creates extreme congruency, and it's going to increase your conversion rate. All right, think about this. The people who are clicking on this ad are clicking on it for a very specific reason. They want this, whatever your headline is. But if they get to your landing page, even if it's slightly different, like fatigue, that's not going to resonate as much. All right, because they clicked on this for a reason. Like the people who are clicking on your ad the most are the people who resonate the most with this. And so your landing page needs to be extremely congruent with what you just said here for the ad. And so literally like how we like to set it up is your ad headline and your landing page headline should be pretty much the exact same thing. like literally word for word the exact same thing. If you do that, you're gonna have extreme congruency and your conversion rates will go up. You will have more people watching your next step or taking the next action because it's just extremely congruent. They clicked on this for a reason, and then they get the exact same reason on the next page. So they're very likely to take the next step. If there's a mismatch, if there's obviously a big mismatch, or even a slight mismatch, the conversion rate drops. All right, so extreme congruency. So let you go and audit your funnel right now. Are ads extremely congruent with the landing page they land on? If you're running multiple ads with different angles and different headlines, you want to create a different landing page that is congruent with the ad. Or that again is going to always. I've never seen a case where this is not the case. It's going to increase conversion rates because they're just extreme congruency. That's number 2. So audit this. Last one here, number 3, is financial modeling. All right, financial modeling. And so what this is, like you want to know your economics of your business. Like you have to know basically how much can your cost per lead be? How much can your cost per call be? What does your show rate, what does your close rate need to be for you to be profitable? If you don't, you're gonna just make random decisions. All right, because you're gonna make decisions based on what feels like expensive cost per call, what feels like expensive leads. And you have nothing to really like hedge against. And so what you need to do, all right, let's say, for example, let's say you have a 5K program. All right, let's put this in here, how much I can actually pay for calls for a 5K program. How much can I pay for a client for a 5K program? So first thing, I mean, typically for this, we're gonna aim for a minimum of like a 3 ROAS. So let's say if we're clicking 5K, we'll divide that by 3. That's 1.6K roughly. All right, so that means our CAC, our client acquisition cost, we want this to be 1.6K or less, all right, to achieve that 3 ROAS. And so let's keep going down the line. All right, how much can we pay for a live call then? All right, this depends on our close rate here. And so for example, I'm just going to use a round number of 1.6K. And let's say I'm able to close 25% of people. All right, so you take 1.6K, and then we basically multiply that by 0.25. That's $400. All right, so this means I can pay $400 for a live call that actually shows up. All right, the next step, how much can I pay for just a booked call? Someone who books a call doesn't necessarily show up. How much can I pay for that? All right, let's say we're getting a 70% show rate. That means we can pay $280 per call. All right, so here's numbers. Here's where you get legit here. Here's where I can really see things. And we also know based off this, like we need to have 25% close rate. And then we need to have a 70% show rate for these numbers to actually work. All right, so basically you can audit this. You can move these numbers around to really understand like what is your allowable cost per call? What is your allowable close rate, allowable show rates? You can obviously play with these numbers and they can be different. You can have 80% show rate, you can have a 20% close rate. But this allows you to understand and manipulate what is profitable numbers. Because a lot of times people will just run ads and then they spend like $500 and they're like, oh, I booked 1 call or I booked 2 calls. I haven't signed anyone. It's not profitable. You're just not running the numbers. Like if it costs us 1.6K to acquire a client on average, according to our numbers, and you've only spent 1K, it's very probable you just haven't spent enough to sign a client. All right, so you have to know your numbers. If you don't, you are just in the dark. You have no clue what you're doing. You can't make good decisions without knowing your numbers and doing financial modeling. So you need to do this. So literally do this math for you. Like I have a fancy spreadsheet built out for this, but you can do back of napkin math here. Like we can change these variables based on your pricing, what your close rate is, what your show rate is, all this stuff. All right, and just for reference, like $280 cost per call is quite high. Like this should be very easy to achieve. if you're using a good funnel, if you follow these tips here. So do the financial modeling, know your numbers, and then you can make good decisions. All right, because that's key. And you can also identify bottleneck as well. Let's say we're achieving, the book call and the live call cost per like targets here. We're booking live calls for $350, but we just haven't acquired clients. And maybe you have a bottleneck in your sales process. Maybe that's the thing you need to fix. All right, so that can reveal bottlenecks to you as well. But this is it. Like, these are the 3 tips. If you do this, like, it's extremely hard to fail. If you do pixel conditioning, if you have extreme congruency, then you do the financial modeling so you can make proper decisions based on the real numbers of your business, it's very hard to fail. All right, if you are an online coach and you want my personal one-on-one help to help you set up your ads, script out your whole funnel A to Z based on what I've seen working with over 200 plus online coaches, go ahead and click the link below. I have a full breakdown on what we do, and if you're interested, go ahead and book a call with us as well. We'll talk from there. All right, so click the link below if you are interested. I'll see you there, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.